Today, I have an advanced English fluency masterclass to help you improve all areas of your English. In this masterclass, you're going to improve your vocabulary, grammar, listening, pronunciation, and speaking. Welcome back to Step Up Learn English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Section 1. Vocabulary. In this section, we'll review collocations, phrasal verbs, and idioms. Because you probably agree that these are confusing, advanced, expert topics in the English language. So, let me make them easy for you. First, let's review collocations. Collocations are fixed word pairs or groups of words that sound natural together. And the important point here is that using the wrong words sounds unnatural. So, pay close attention. Let's review this very common collocation, a decision. How would you complete this? A decision? Put the missing word in the comments. But don't think about your native language because it could be different in English. In English, we say, make a decision. Make a decision. This is a collocation. It's a group of words that sounds natural together, and it doesn't sound natural to say, take a decision or do a decision, even though that might be the word choice that's natural in your native language. Remember, you need to still identify the verb and conjugate it with the subject and time reference to use the collocation correctly. So, the verb is make. I made the decision to learn English with Jennifer. Did you make that decision? If you did, then put that's right in the comments. So, notice here, your verb is make, but then we conjugate that in the past simple, made. And then make a decision is the collocation, but you can change all, which means any decision, to the, which is a specific decision because it's the decision you made to learn English with me. So, thank you very much for making that decision. Now, don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson, PDF. You can find the link in the description. How about this collocation? A break. How do you complete it? Put the word choice in the comments. You take a break, which may be different from how you would say it in your native language. Now, you don't do a promise in English. Do you know what word you need instead? Do a promise sounds unnatural in English because in English first, you make a promise. Make is your verb. And then you either keep the promise or you break the promise. If you keep it, you fulfill that promise. If you break it, you don't fulfill it. So remember with collocations, different pairs or groups are used in other languages. Collocations don't follow set rules or patterns. So, they really require memorization. Start with memorizing these. And then, as you see more in your daily life, make sure you take a note of them. Remember them. Let's move on to phrasal verbs, another very confusing expert advanced topic. So, what is a phrasal verb? It's a verb plus participle, and the participle can be a preposition or adverb. Now, it's important to know that the meaning of the main verb changes when it's used as a phrasal verb. And one phrasal verb has many different meanings depending on context, which is why they are advanced, confusing, and expert level. Now, another thing to remember, though, is that native speakers love using phrasal verbs. So, they are very important for students to understand. Let's take the phrasal verb, take off. So, the main verb is take, and the preposition is off. And these two words together have a specific meaning. But there are many different meanings of the phrasal verb take off. For example, I always take off my jewelry before bed. You know what this means, right? I always remove my jewelry. I always take it off. But I could ask you, what time does your plane take off? So, here you probably know this one. What time does your plane depart from the ground? What if I said my idea took off? What does that mean? I removed my idea. My idea left the ground. Well, you could think of it like that because it means my idea became successful. And on a chart, success often looks like this, just like a plane. So perhaps that can help you remember this meaning. How about this one? I'm late. I should take off. I should leave. I should leave. Or how about this one? The store took off 50% because of the scratch. So in this context, take off means reduce or subtract from the amount. So it's very important to understand the context that the phrasal verb is being used in, because that will tell you the meaning. And at the advanced expert level, you also need to understand the sentence structure of each phrasal verb type. For example, you would say, my idea took off. Now, if you wanted to use a pronoun to replace the subject, my idea, you would say, it took off because my idea is singular, and it replaces the singular. But if I say, I take off my jewelry and you wanted to use it, you would say, I take it off because jewelry is an uncountable noun. It's conjugated as third-person singular, even though I have more than one piece of jewelry. Now remember, these are advanced concepts. You may need to watch this lesson many times. Review the lesson notes in the free PDF many times. That is absolutely what you should do. Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news, so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Now that you're familiar with phrasal verbs, let's learn 10 common phrasal verbs you can use in your speech every day. And at the end, there'll be a quiz to make sure you really know these phrasal verbs. Number 1 to aim at. And you aim at a target. And when you aim at a target, this means to intend to achieve that target. So you just try to achieve that target. For example, they're aiming at reducing their costs by 10%. So what's the target in this sentence? Reducing their costs by 10%. That entire clause is the target. Now notice we have a gerund verb. So you can absolutely have a gerund verb. You can aim at doing something, so a gerund verb. You can also use a noun. For example, his slingshot was aimed at his neighbor's garage. So the target in this example is the neighbor's garage, and his slingshot was aimed at because that's the target he's attempting to achieve. Number 2. This is a great one to shrug off. When you shrug something off, you disregard it. You don't consider it important. So I could say his insult and insult is something negative you say to another person. His insult was aimed at me, to use our first phrasal verb. His insult was aimed at me, but I shrugged it off. I said, "Nah, I don't care. I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm not going to let it hurt me. It's not important. I'm going to disregard it. I'm going to shrug it off." Now notice what I'm doing with my shoulders, because this is the verb shrug. You can shrug your shoulders. And we generally do that when we want to say, meh, whatever. We tend to shrug our shoulders. So that's where this expression comes from. Number 3, to egg on. That's right, to egg on. This is a fun one. When you egg someone on, you encourage them to do something, but that something isn't in their best interest. For example, let's say a student is arguing with their teacher. Now that probably isn't in the student's best interest to argue with the teacher. But if the other students are saying, "Yeah, keep going. You're doing great," they're egging him on. They're egging that student on. They're encouraging that student to keep arguing, even though arguing isn't in his best interest. Or let's say you're considering doing something a little risky, like jumping off a high cliff, when you don't know what's beneath you, and maybe you're not really serious about it, but the crowd eggs you on. "Oh, do it. You can do it. You should do it." They're encouraging you. But you'll commonly hear this on TV, in movies, or when you're reading. So I wanted to share it with you so you're not confused when you see this egg on and you have no idea what they're talking about. Now you do. Number 4, to turn down. When you turn something down, it means you reject that something. And we use this in the context of an offer or an invitation. For example, they offered her the job, but she turned it down. She said no to the job. So of course you can say she rejected, but it's more common to say she turned it down. So you can turn down something like a job offer. You can also turn down an invitation from someone else, a social invitation, or a romantic invitation. For example, I asked Marissa out, but she turned me down. When you ask someone out, it means you invite them to dinner or a coffee for romantic purposes. I asked Marissa out, but she turned me down. She rejected my offer. Number 5, to zoom in, or the opposite, to zoom out. If there are any photographers here, you already know what this means, because when you zoom in, the object becomes closer, and when you zoom out, the object becomes farther away. And I'm sharing this with you because everyone is meeting on video conference. Now, when you're having a video conference, you have a camera that's focusing on you, and is really important. You have the correct zoom. You don't want to be too close. If you're too close to the camera, you need to zoom out. If you're too far, you need to zoom in. So you might ask a colleague, "Hey, I can't see you very well. Can you zoom in?" Or a colleague might tell you, "Your picture's all blurry. You need to zoom out." So now you know what that means for your next video call. Number 6, to wiggle out of this is a great one. When you wiggle out of something, you avoid a situation, a task, a chore, a responsibility that you don't really want to do. And you avoid it in a cunning way. So let's say that tomorrow you're supposed to clean out the garage, and you don't really want to, but your wife or your husband, your sister, your brother, whoever wants you to clean out the garage. Now tomorrow when you're supposed to clean out that garage, maybe you get an urgent phone call just at the right moment, and you have to go to work and finish something. But you plan that phone call. You plan that phone call to take place right as you needed to clean the garage. So you did that in a cunning way. So you try to wiggle out of cleaning the garage. So basically, when you're asked to do something, and then you try to avoid it by creating a scenario, or you have another responsibility, or maybe a friend asked you to move, but you tell them, "Oh, you have a back injury." So you hurt your back, and now you can't help them move. So you try to wiggle out of it. Number 7, to hold up. This is a must-know phrasal verb because we use it when you're delayed, and you're delayed specifically while you're traveling. This could be traveling on a flight or a train, so a more long-distance travel, but it can also just be traveling from your office to another boardroom, or from your house to the car. So it can be a very short distance travel, or a longer travel as well. For example, my kids always hold me up when I'm trying to leave. So you're trying to leave the house, and your kids, Mom, I need this. Help me find that. Do this for me." And they delay you. They delay you when you're trying to leave. You're trying to travel. My kids always hold me up. Now, we commonly use this in the passive form. So you might have an appointment that you're trying to get to, and you're late. And when you get to that appointment, and you can say, "Sorry, I'm late. I was held up to be held up. I was held up by my kids. Oh, I was held up." Number 8, to hit it off. This is a great one. When you hit it off, it means you have a very positive relationship with someone right from the first time you meet them. So let's say you have a new coworker, and the first conversation you have, you realize you have a lot in common. You really like the person. They're nice. They're funny. They like you. The conversation's going really well. You can say, "Wow, we really hit it off." Hit it off? That it is just our relationship. We hit our relationship off, but we always use it. We really hit it off. Now notice how I also said we almost always use this expression with the subject. We, my coworker and I, or we, my coworker and I, hit it off. I would not say I hit it off with my coworker. That sounds unnatural. We say we hit it off. Number 9, to get through. When you get through something, it simply means you finish it. But that something is usually a chore or an unpleasant task. Something that isn't enjoyable. For example, I have 10 reports I need to get through by the end of the day. I have 10 reports I need to finish by the end of the day. But when I use the phrasal verb, get through, it implies there's going to be some effort, some struggle. I don't really enjoy the task. Number 10. To freshen up. When you freshen up, you quickly improve your appearance. So before you go into a meeting or to a social event, you can freshen up. You can go into the bathroom and you can brush your hair. You can put on fresh lipstick. You can check your makeup. Now, if you're a guy, maybe you put on deodorant or cologne. Things like that. So you quickly improve your appearance. You freshen up. So, let's say you're going out for a nice dinner. You might say, "Oh, just give me 5 minutes to freshen up." So now you have 10 new phrasal verbs added to your vocabulary. Are you ready for your quiz? Here are the questions. Hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready, hit play to see the answers. So how did you do with that quiz? Let's find out. Here are your answers. So hit pause. Take as much time as you need to review the answers. Now let's move on to idioms. An idiom is a group of words in a fixed order that has a meaning that is different from the meaning of each individual word. You know what the verb to break means, right? It means to shatter or damage something. And you know what ice is, right? It's frozen water, of course. But what about the idiom to break the ice? Remember, the group of words has a meaning that is different from the individual words. So to break the ice as an idiom means to make people who have not met before feel more relaxed with each other. This is very common in the workplace. For example, we played a silly word game at the beginning of the meeting to break the ice for everyone to get to know each other. Interact with each other before the meeting starts. But remember that you need to use the idiom in a very specific fixed order. So you cannot say we broke an ice. You cannot say we broke ice. You must say we broke the ice because idioms have a fixed word order that can't be changed. Now, if you were talking to your friend and you said we broke ice at the meeting, even though one small word is missing, the word your friend, if your friend is a native speaker, would not understand you. And that's why these concepts are at the advanced expert level. Now let's focus more on idioms, and you'll learn the 20 most common idioms you can use every day. Number 1, to break a leg. Do you know this one? What if I said to you, break a leg? Do you know what that means? I'm saying good luck, and we generally use this when someone is about to perform in an exam or a presentation, a job interview, or within the theatrical world if you're an actor. So I might say you're going to do great on your presentation. Break a leg. Good luck. And you can simply use those 3 words. Break a leg, and break a leg. Don't worry about writing these down because I summarize everything in the free lesson PDF, and you can find the link in the description. Number 2, to spill the beans. Oh, this means to reveal a secret. So you tell your friend about this surprise party you're planning for another friend. but then she spills the beans. She tells that friend, "Hey, we're planning you a surprise party." You can say, "I can't believe you spilled the beans about the surprise party. So what about you? Can I trust you with a secret? I'm going to tell you a secret, but first, you have to promise to not spill the beans." So put in the comments, "I won't spill the beans. I won't spill the beans." And then I'll reveal my secret. Number 3, to hit the hay. Well, I'm going to hit the hay. Do you know what this means? It means I'm going to bed. I'm going to sleep. So you might tell your family, "I have an early meeting tomorrow. So I'm going to hit the hay." Now you can also use sack, hit the hay, hit the sack. They mean exactly the same thing. Number 4, to bite the bullet. This is when you face a difficult situation with courage. So let's say you made a mistake at work. That's a difficult situation, but you're going to face it. So you're going to walk into your boss's office and you're going to say, "I made a mistake." So you could tell your coworker, "I have to bite the bullet and tell my boss about the mistake." We bite the bullet. Guess it's time to bite the bullet. Number 5, to hit the jackpot. I hope this happens to you. This is when you experience a significant success or gain. You could say winning the contract felt like hitting the jackpot for our company. So maybe the contract was for a very large amount, or it was with a really prestigious client. So it was a big success, a significant success. Number 6, to catch someone's eye. This means to attract someone's attention or simply be noticed. Her impressive presentation caught the CEO's eye. So notice that possessive catch someone's eye, the CEO's eye. So it's possessive. How about this one? His resume caught the hiring manager's eye. So notice the possessive is after the S because there's more than one hiring manager, the hiring managers. It's plural. So you add the possessive after for a plural. So it belongs to the hiring managers. But notice I is always singular. We don't add the S to I pick whatever catches your eye. Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news, so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more. Or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Number 8, to hit the nail on the head. This is when you describe precisely, exactly, what is causing a problem or situation. Hit the nail on the head. To give you a compliment, I could say you really hit the nail on the head with your analysis, but I could reverse that and say, your analysis of the situation really hit the nail on the head. Both of them are correct and have the same meaning. You hit the nail on the head. Number 9, to burn bridges. You don't want to do this. This is when you damage relationships or you close off opportunities. And most people do this when they end a relationship in a business context. This would be when you quit, when you end your professional relationship with the company. But you should never burn bridges when you quit. Because if you damage that relationship by quitting in an outrageous way, in an unprofessional way, well then you can't use that employer as a reference, and you never know when you might need that employer again in the future, or when you might even work for that employer again in the future. So, you don't want to burn bridges. Number 10, to jump on the bandwagon. This is a fun one. This is when you adopt a popular activity or trend. In the YouTube world, a popular trend is YouTube Shorts. Now, after a year of not making YouTube Shorts, I decided to jump on the bandwagon. I decided to make YouTube Shorts because they're popular and they're trendy. Every studio is jumping on the bandwagon. I wish I had bit the bullet. Remember this one bit, that is the past. This is the past perfect. I wish I had bit the bullet sooner. Number 11, to be in the same boat. One of the most common idioms. This is when you face the same challenges or are in a similar situation. The same boat. Julio is nervous about public speaking. Keziah is nervous about public speaking. They're in the same boat when it comes to public speaking. We're in the same boat. Looks like we're in the same boat. Speak and span. I love this one. This means neat, tidy, and clean. I always keep my office spick and span. How about your office? You can use this for anything. An entire room, or maybe even just a desk. She always keeps her desk spick and span. Spick and span. I want them spick and span. Number 13, to cost an arm and a leg. This means to be very expensive. So there's a problem with your car. You could say, getting my car repaired is going to cost an arm and a leg. It's going to be very expensive. Air conditioners cost an arm and a leg, and it won't cost you an arm and a leg. You could also say cost a pretty penny, which is our next idiom. Number 14, and it means exactly the same thing. Very expensive. So the same example as before, but now you can say getting my car repaired is going to cost a pretty penny. You can use either one. Cost a pretty penny? Cost me a pretty penny today. How about number 15? Dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. This means very cheap, very inexpensive. So let's say I see my best friend with this new designer handbag. I can say, wow, that Gucci handbag must have cost an arm and a leg, or must have cost a pretty penny. But then she can say, actually, it was dirt cheap. So I could say really how, and that's our next idiom. Number 16, a knockoff. Do you know what a knockoff is? This is a copy or imitation of a product. So my friend does not have a real Gucci handbag. It's a knockoff. So when you buy a Rolex, make sure it's not a knockoff. It's just a cheap knockoff. Number 17, to hit the road. I love this one. I use it a lot. This is when you begin a journey, or simply leave a place. So to begin a journey, you can say, I'm packed. Let's hit the road. Let's begin our journey. Or you could say, it's getting late. Let's hit the road. Yes, hit the road. let's hit the road. Number 18, to break a sweat. This is when you exert physical effort. So at the gym, if you run really fast, you're going to break a sweat, which means you begin sweating to break a sweat. But it could also be when you work really hard, you could break a sweat. But we also use in the negative. Oh, this lesson was too easy, Jennifer. I didn't even break a sweat. Well, I'll have to make the next one harder for you. Number 19, to be under the weather. A must-know idiom. This simply means to be or feel sick. So you might send a message to your team and say, I'm going to work from home today. I'm a little under the weather, and I don't want to get anyone sick. Well, they're under the weather. And finally, number 20, to call it a day. This is when you decide to stop working on something. Well, this is the 20th idiom. So, let's call it a day. I'm going to stop working on this video. I'm going to end the video, and you can stop as well. Well, in just a few minutes. Now notice the expression uses day. Let's call it a day. If it were 8 o'clock at night, you could say, well, it's 8. So let's call it a day, or let's call it a night. So at night you can choose to use night, but you can also still use day. So you can just use day for all situations. Call it a day. We're going to call it a day. Now let's move on to Section 2 grammar. But in this entire section, you're going to still expand your vocabulary as well. Because in this section, we are talking about gerundwords. This is definitely at the advanced expert level. But remember, even if you're a beginner or intermediate, I'm going to make this very easy for you. So what is a gerund verb? A gerund verb is the base verb plus ing, and the gerund verb functions as the noun. Gerunds are used in many different ways. Number 1, the subject of a sentence. Swimming is my favorite activity. So swimming is the gerund. It's your base verb plus ing, and it is the subject of the sentence. It's the noun. So notice that sentence structure, noun plus verb plus object. That's the basic sentence structure in English. But our noun, our subject, is a gerund verb. Gerunds are also used as the object of a verb. You most likely know this with verbs of preference, which you learn at the more beginner intermediate level. She enjoys, you know. You need a gerund, right? She enjoys reading novels. So here, the gerund functions as the object of the verb. It tells you what she enjoys. She enjoys what she enjoys reading novels. Now, since this is a super advanced lesson, you could take this sentence and turn it into a gerund statement. Number 1 and say, reading is her favorite activity, or reading novels is her favorite activity. Gerunds are also used as the object of a preposition. This one is easy. If you have a preposition, your next verb is a gerund verb. For example, he is interested in learning because in is a preposition, so your following verb is a gerund. He's interested in learning new languages. Now this is a very important point, because gerunds follow phrasal verbs, because remember, a phrasal verb is a verb plus preposition. So you could say he put off put off is the phrasal verb, which means delayed. He put off asking his boss for a position. So understanding gerunds is essential to using phrasal verbs correctly. Gerund verbs are also required after certain verbs, and this simply requires memorization. For example, the verb avoid is a gerund verb. The verb that follows avoid is in the gerund. I avoid eating junk food. It's worth is a gerund verb. The verb that follows is a gerund. It's worth learning English. And gerunds are also used as part of a compound noun. I bought new running shoes. So here running is a compound noun with shoes. It describes the shoes. So it's not just shoes, it's running shoes. Now, let's review some common gerund expressions. And I chose these expressions because they're ones that students have asked me about, or I have seen mistakes with. For example, she is committed to improving her English fluency. So here the expression is to be committed to. To belongs to the expression, and to is a preposition, which is why your next verb is in the gerund improving. And because this is an expert level lesson, remember that you can have a preposition plus noun or gerund. For example, she is committed to, I just need a noun. Something instead of an ing. Well, the something could be her English fluency. So I can simply say she is committed to her English fluency. So you can use a noun or a gerund. You could ask who is responsible for. Notice here, the preposition is for, then you made your gerund. Who is responsible for managing the project? This is one I see a lot of mistakes with. I'm used to waking up early. So the expression is to be used to something or doing something. We look forward to meeting the new team members. Forward to is part of the expression. It's a preposition, so you need the grand. The consultant advised against investing in the project. So here, against functions as a preposition. So you need the grand advised against investing in the project. Let's focus more on one specific area, where you'll use a gerund verb. And this is with the verb go plus gerund with physical activities. These are your leisure activities, your hobbies, things you do every day. Now, this is a sentence structure that we use in very specific situations. And that one situation is when we're talking about an activity that involves physical movement. So a lot of these are just the physical activities that you do as leisure activities. Now, when we talk about these, we don't follow our basic English sentence structure, which is subject plus verb plus infinitive, which is to and verb. So for example, I don't say I go to hike every Sunday. Go is our verb. And in the regular sentence structure, the following verb would be in the infinitive, which is what you see here. But this is incorrect. We need our gerund verb, which is simply a verb with ing. This is an alternative sentence structure and a regular sentence structure that we only use in specific cases with verbs of physical activity and movement is one of those cases. So I need to say, I go hiking. I take my verb hike and I simply put it in the gerund form with ing. I go hiking every Sunday. That's the correct sentence structure. So just remember that this sentence structure is subject plus go plus gerund plus verb and ing. Now remember that go is our active verb, and we're going to conjugate it according to the subject and the time reference. So when I say I go hiking every Sunday, that's my verb to go in the present simple, conjugated with the subject I, because I'm talking about a routine. But let's say my time reference is yesterday. It would be yesterday I went hiking. So remember, our active verb you go is the one that's going to change and be conjugated with the subject and time reference. But the following verb, the grund verb, doesn't change, is going to stay in that grund form. Yesterday, I went hiking. Now I could change my subject and change my time reference. And I could say today, but as a future event today, she's going hiking. So here, my verb go is in the present continuous and is conjugated with the subject she, but still hiking doesn't change. So remember that it doesn't matter what your subject is or your time reference is. The verb go is going to be conjugated. But the verb in gerund form, your physical activity, is not going to change. Now, you're probably wondering, what activities can I use this structure with? So I'm going to give you a list of the most common. This isn't an exhaustive list. There may be others not on this list. So if you can think of one that isn't on this list, put it in the comments. So let's review this list together. Running, jogging, hiking, camping, canoeing, kayaking, diving, boating, shopping, snowboarding, skiing, climbing, fishing, surfing, horseback riding. There, the verb is riding horseback, just describes what type of riding, but our verb is riding horseback riding and dancing. Again, there may be other verbs of movement and physical activity that aren't on this list. If you can think of any, please put them in the comments below. Now, before you go, let's look at one advanced change to this sentence structure. Okay, let's look at this sentence. I could say I enjoy going hiking. What's going on here? Now you see two gerunds. The verb go is in the gerund form, verb ing, and then hiking, our activity, is in the gerund form. So always remember that the verb go needs to be conjugated according to the sentence structure. Okay, so here I have I enjoy. Now enjoy is a verb, but not just any verb. It's a gerund verb, which means the verb that comes next. In this case, go. That's the verb that comes next. It needs to be conjugated in the gerund form. So when you look at this sentence, we have two gerunds. Go is in the gerund form because it follows the verb enjoy, which is a gerund verb. Hiking is in the gerund form because it follows the verb go. And in the context of go plus physical activity, that verb of physical activity is in the gerund form. So as you become more advanced with English, you'll need to identify what's going on in a sentence. If this example is too advanced for you, that's okay. You can just focus on the information I said before and just forget about this one. But if you are at that level where you're nodding your head and you understand me, that's awesome. It shows you have an advanced understanding of English grammar and sentence structure. And if you're not there yet, don't worry. You will be one day. Let's move on to section 3, and you'll improve both your listening and pronunciation. Now in this section, you're going to practice listening to fast-speaking natives, because you need to get comfortable with fast English to truly understand natives in the real world. The best way to do that is by listening to fast English. So you'll listen to a short TV clip and you'll hear it 3 times. And I want you to write down what you hear in the comments. Now, as a hint, there are 9 words. 9 words. Play it 3 times. What do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do about it? So, did you hear what he said? How many words did you hear? He said, "What do you want me to do about it?" Of course, he didn't say it like that because he connected his speech, but that's what he said. So let's listen one more time. What do you want to do about it? Understanding natives and improving your listening comprehension overall will become easier once you understand connected speech. This is where sounds are naturally combined in spoken English. This applies to spoken English only. Now, native speakers don't always use connected speech. So, let's listen to the exact same sentence, the exact same 9 words, but you might find this clip easier because the speaker doesn't connect her words. Let's listen now. What do you want me to do about it? So remember, using connected speech is not a requirement. It's not a rule. It's simply something that naturally takes place frequently in spoken English. So let's listen to the connected speech clip again. What do you want me to do about it? Remember he said, "What do you want me to do about it?" So connected speech, we can take words. What do you, and we can combine the sounds together to produce one new word. What do you now want me here? All we're doing is we're not pushing out that T sound. This is called a flat T, and it makes it easier to connect to the next word, the next sound. Want me, want me, want me. So instead of saying want me, just want me. Now, instead of saying to do, you can say to, so a very unstressed to, but connect it to your next sound, to do. And then about it here, this is called linking, where we link these 2 sounds together. So about it, I'll actually use a soft D sound, and you'll hear that sound on both sides of the word. And I'll say it as one about it. And that's how these 9 words can sound like. What do you want me to do about it? Now you also have to understand the meaning of this in order to truly improve your listening comprehension. What do you want me to do? This is asking what actions do you want me to take? And remember I said, you need to pay attention in your daily life and learn collocations, phrasal verbs, idioms as you are exposed to them. So here, remember you take an action now about it here. It represents the situation. I don't know what the situation is because we only have these 9 words, but it would represent some sort of situation. Now you should also be thinking about what we previously learned in this lesson. we have about, which is a preposition. So technically, you could use a verb in this, but you would need to use the Grundverb. I could say, what do you want me to do about losing the client? What action do you want me to take about losing the client? Are you feeling like an English language expert? Let's move on to our final section, Section 4, Speaking. One of the best ways to improve your speaking confidence is through shadowing. This is when you repeat what you hear, but you repeat it out loud, which means you say the words and the words are audible. Someone can hear your words. You're not saying it in your head. You're saying it out loud. And while you're shadowing, you want to imitate, which means copy. You want to imitate the sounds, the pronunciation, but also the rhythm and the intonation, so you sound just like whatever you're shadowing. So let's practice this together. I'm going to say a sentence, and I will leave enough time for you to say it out loud, and I want you to copy the sounds, the rhythm, and the intonation. You will recognize these sentences because they are points we previously discussed in the lesson. Our first sentence, I'll say it 3 times. Did she keep her promise? Did she keep her promise? Did she keep her promise? We took off around 10. We took off around 10. We took off around 10. How did you break the ice? How did you break the ice? Ice. How did you break the ice? Going hiking is so fun. Going hiking is so fun. Going hiking is so fun. What do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do about it? Let's keep doing more listening exercises because at the same time, you'll improve your pronunciation. You'll also shadow me, so you improve your speaking. Here's how this lesson will work. I'm going to say a sentence 3 times at a natural fast pace, and you need to write down exactly what you hear in the comments. And the examples are going to go from beginner A1 to more advanced C2. So let's see if you can complete this whole lesson. Our first listening exercise, I'll say it 3 times. Thanks for your help. You rock. Thanks for your help. You rock. Thanks for your help. You rock. Did you get this one? I said. Thanks for your help. You rock. Very easy, right? At a natural pace, native speakers, we reduce sound. So for becomes for. Thanks for. Your becomes your. Thanks for your. Thanks for your help. Your help. Thanks for your help. Now let's review a common mistake that I hear beginner students make, and sometimes even advanced students. You can say thank you or thanks. You cannot say thanks you or thank. And notice in our example, we have thanks for your help. Thanks for your help. What is your help? This is a noun, so we have thanks for plus noun. You can also use thanks for plus gerund, because for is a preposition. So what would thanks for your help be in the gerund form? Do you know? Thanks for helping me. Thanks for your help. Thanks for helping me. And you rock. This is a very natural way to say you're great. You're awesome. I use this in the comment section to reply to your lovely comments all the time. But don't say you are rock. It is not to be rock. It is to rock. You rock. You rock. You're awesome. You're really great. You rock. Put that in the comments. You rock. You rock. Thanks for your help. Thanks for helping me. Thanks, Billy. You rock. You rock. Thanks, honey. Let's try this again. A little more difficult. I'll say it 3 times. She's starting to rub off on you. She's starting to rub off on you. She's starting to rub off on you. Did you get this one? I said she's starting to rub off on you. She's is our contraction. She is. She's starting to. So instead of to, you can use an unstressed to. She's starting to rub off because rub off is a verb. They go together. I can take that B sound and connect it to the next word, but I have to combine them together. I have to see them as one word. Rub off, rub off, rub off. I can also take that on and add it together. So I'm saying those 3 words as one rub off on. So here, I'm taking the F from off and I'm adding it on. Fawn, rub off on, rub off on, rub off on you. What does this mean to rub off on someone? Is when someone's behavior or personality affects someone else. Let's take Janice, and let's say Janice loves helping other people. Now let's say Fernando spends a week working with Janice, and now Fernando starts helping other people. You could say, Janice rubbed off on Fernando. Here we have it in the past. Simple rubbed, rubbed, rubbed off on Janice, rubbed on Fernando. Now you could also take the specific personality trait or characteristic in this case, Janice's helpfulness, which is a noun Janice's helpfulness because the helpfulness belongs to Janice. So it's possessive. Janice's helpfulness rubbed off on Fernando. So that specific character trait of Janice transferred to Fernando because they spend time together, right? Because he's really rubbing off on you. Finally, I'm rubbing off on you. My deviousness has finally rubbed off on you. Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. He rubs me the wrong way. He rubs me the wrong way. He rubs me the wrong way. Did you get this one? I said he rubs me the wrong way. Notice this expression uses the verb to rub, and our last expression used the verb to rub, but they have completely different meanings. And that's why this is a more advanced listening exercise, because maybe you understood the words, but you don't know what this means to rub someone the wrong way. This is to annoy someone, but without intending to remember Janice from our last example, and she was very helpful, but maybe for some reason, she just rubs you the wrong way. She annoys you, but there's nothing that she does to annoy you. Just maybe your personalities clash. They don't go together. So if you're planning a social gathering, you might say, is it okay if we don't invite Janice? She rubs me the wrong way. Now, an entire person like poor Janice can rub you the wrong way, but it also could be something specific that someone said or did. And overall you like Janice, but just that one thing she said or did rubbed you the wrong way. For example, your comment just rubbed me the wrong way. Thanks for watching. Happy learning. Welcome to Owl English. In this lesson, we will practice English pronunciation, speaking, and listening. This is a long practice session. Relax, listen carefully, and repeat after me. Step by step, your English will improve. Let's begin with greetings. Hello, hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm good. I'm okay, not bad. I'm tired. I'm happy. I'm excited. Now let's make short conversations. Hello, how are you today? I'm fine, thank you. And you? I'm good too. What are you doing? I'm studying English. That's great. Yes, it is. Another short conversation. Good morning, Mr. Smith. Good morning. How are you? I'm fine. Are you busy today? Yes, I have a meeting. Good luck. Thank you. Now, let's practice polite expressions. Please. Thank you. You're welcome. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's okay. No problem. Could you help me? Of course. I appreciate it. Now, let's practice questions. What is your name? My name is Anna. Where are you from? I am from Pakistan. Where do you live? I live in New York. What do you do? I am a student. Do you like English? Yes, I do. How old are you? I am 20 years old. Now, let's try useful daily sentences. I am hungry. I am thirsty. I am tired. I am happy. I am sad. I am busy. I am ready. I am late. I am free. Now let's practice in sentences. I am hungry. Let's eat. I am thirsty. I need water. I am tired. I want to sleep. I am happy today. I am busy right now. I am ready to go. I am late for school. I am early for the meeting. I am free this evening. Now let's practice at a restaurant. Hello, may I see the menu? Yes, here you are. Thank you. What do you recommend? The chicken is very good. Okay, I will take the chicken. Would you like something to drink? Yes. Water, please. Anything else? No, that's all. Here is your food. Enjoy your meal. Thank you very much. Now, let's practice in a shop. Hello, can I help you? Yes, I want to buy a shirt. What size do you need? Medium, please. Here is a medium shirt. Can I try it on? Yes, the fitting room is over there. It fits well. How much is it? It is $20. Okay, I will buy it. Do you need a bag? Yes, please. Here you are. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Now let's practice. Good morning. May I see your passport? Yes, here it is. Thank you. Where are you flying to? I am flying to London. Do you have any luggage? Yes, one bag. Please put it on the scale. Here is your boarding pass. Gate number 10. Thank you. Have a good flight. Thank you very much. Now, let's practice in the hotel. Good evening. Do you have a reservation? Yes, under the name David. One moment, please. Yes, we have your booking. Single room or double room? Single room, please. Here is your key. Your room is on the second floor. Breakfast is at 7 o'clock. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Enjoy your stay. Now let's practice daily activities. I wake up early. I brush my teeth. I wash my face. I take a shower. I get dressed. I eat breakfast. I go to school. I study English. I eat lunch. I go home. I do homework. I eat dinner. I watch TV. I go to bed. Now let's practice in story form. My name is Allie. I wake up at 7 o'clock. I brush my teeth and wash my face. I eat breakfast with my family. Then I go to school. At school, I study English and math. I eat lunch with my friends. After school, I go home. I do my homework. In the evening, I eat dinner. Then I watch TV. Finally, I go to bed at 10 o'clock. Now let's practice pronunciation with tricky words again. Comfortable, vegetable, chocolate, Wednesday, February, receipt. Now put them in sentences. This chair is comfortable. I like vegetables. She loves chocolate. Today is Wednesday. February is cold. I need the receipt. Now let's practice minimal pairs again. Pen and pan. Sit and seat. Ship and sheep. Cat and cut. Full and fool. Fan and van. Thin and tin. Right and light. Let's make sentences. I have a pen. I cooked in a pan. Please sit down. Please take a seat. The ship is in the sea. The sheep is in the field. The cat is black. Cut the paper. The glass is full. Don't be a fool. The fan is broken. The van is outside. He is thin. The box is made of tin. This is the right answer. The light is bright. Now let's practice a longer story. Emma is a nurse. She works in a hospital. She wears a white uniform. Every day she helps many patients. She gives them medicine. She speaks kindly to them. Her patients feel happy. Emma loves her job. She feels proud when people get better. At night, she goes home tired, but she is satisfied. Now, another story. James is a taxi driver. He drives a yellow taxi. Every morning, he starts work at 7 o'clock. He drives people to the airport. He drives people to the market. He drives people to the office. Sometimes he is busy. Sometimes he is free. James likes talking to his passengers. He listens to their stories. He says every day is different. That's why he enjoys his job. Now let's practice travel again. Where is the bus stop? It is near the school. What time does the bus leave? At 10 o'clock. How much is the ticket? It is $5. Where is the train station? It is next to the park. When does the train arrive? At 2 o'clock. How far is the airport? It is 20 kilometers. Now, let's practice motivation sentences. I can speak English. I can improve my pronunciation. I can understand better. I enjoy practicing. Step by step, I am improving. Practice makes perfect. I will continue to practice every day. I am becoming more fluent. I believe in myself. I will not give up. Asterisk, asterisk. Now, let's move to useful daily sentences. Good morning. How are you today? I'm fine, thank you. What about you? I'm good too. It's a beautiful day. Yes, the sun is shining. What are your plans for today? I will go to the market. That sounds nice. Now let's continue with polite expressions. Please speak slowly. Could you repeat that? Thank you very much. You're welcome. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's okay. No problem. Have a nice day. Here is a short dialogue in a restaurant. Hello. May I see the menu? Yes. Here you are. Thank you. What do you recommend? The chicken is very good. Okay. I will try the chicken. Would you like something to drink? Yes. Water, please. Certainly. Here is your meal. Enjoy your food. Thank you very much. Now let's practice pronunciation with tricky words. Comfortable, vegetable, chocolate, Wednesday, February, receipt. Now repeat them in sentences. This chair is comfortable. I bought fresh vegetables. She likes chocolate. Today is Wednesday. February is cold. I need the receipt, please. Now let's practice minimal pairs. Ship and sheep. Sit and seat. Bit and beat. Fool and fool. Fan and van. Thin and tin. Right and light. Listen carefully to the small differences. Now use them in sentences. The ship is on the sea. The sheep is in the field. Please sit down. Please seat the guest. I ate a bit of bread. I like the beat of the music. The glass is full. Don't be a fool. The fan is broken. The van is outside. The boy is thin. The box is made of tin. This is the right answer. The light is very bright. Now let's practice a short story. My name is Sarah. I live in a small town. Every morning, I wake up early. I brush my teeth and wash my face. I eat breakfast and drink a cup of tea. Then I go to work. At work, I talk to many people. I try to speak clearly. I know that good pronunciation is important. Every evening, I listen to English stories. Step by step, my English is improving. Here is another story. Mark is a student. He studies English every day. He listens to lessons, repeats words, and practices sentences. Sometimes it is difficult. Sometimes he makes mistakes. But Mark does not give up. He says to himself, "Practice makes perfect." Day by day, he feels more confident. One day, he will speak English fluently. Now, let's practice a shopping dialogue. Hello, how much is this shirt? It is $20. That's too expensive. Do you have something cheaper? Yes, this one is $15. Okay, I will take it. Do you need a bag? Yes, please. Here you are. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Now let's practice travel sentences. Where is the bus station? The bus station is near the park. How much is a ticket to London? It is £10. When does the train leave? A train leaves at 10 o'clock. Where is the airport? The airport is far from here. Can I take a taxi? Yes, you can. Now, a short travel story. Emma is traveling to another city. She goes to the bus station. She buys a ticket. She waits for the bus. When the bus arrives, she gets on. She finds a seat near the window. She looks outside and enjoys the view. After 2 hours, she arrives at her destination. She feels happy and excited. Now, let's practice sentences in the office. Good morning, Mr. Smith. Good morning. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. Do you have the report? Yes, here it is. Excellent work, thank you. Do you have a meeting today? Yes, at 2 o'clock. Okay, see you later. Now practice at the doctor's office. Good morning. What's the problem? I have a headache. Do you have a fever? No, just a headache. Okay, take this medicine. Thank you, doctor. You're welcome. Take care. Now let's practice more positive sentences. I can speak English clearly. I enjoy practicing every day. I am improving step by step. People can understand me better now. I am more confident in speaking English. My listening is improving. My vocabulary is growing. Every day, I am closer to fluency. Here is another short story. David likes to read English books. At first, it was difficult. There were many new words, but he kept reading. Day by day, he learned more. Now, he can read short stories easily. Reading helps his vocabulary and pronunciation. David feels proud of his progress. Thank you for practicing with Owl English. Come back every day to listen, repeat, and practice. The more you practice, the more fluent you will become. See you in the next lesson.